Mark, you took a good old swing at Golf is Hard by Andrew Beef Johnson. Now, I know all about golf. Was it a hole-in-one or did they totally shank it?
Well, I didn't know anything about golf really, being honest. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it.
Oh.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because I was like, I hope this is a good, enjoyable book, with a start, middle and end kind of thing. And it is, it's his journey. And he's a bit of a character as well. He shares a lot of his stories about he's out partying till 4 a.m. and then he's 8 a.m. He's been interviewed by Sky News. So it was good that way. But he really kind of opens up in it as well, and how he struggled and how he started as a child from London and he got into it and he just always kept going back to golf, and his parents were, I suppose, encouraging of the fact, and they didn't realise, I suppose, his potential, but they said, if you love it, keep going, essentially. So he kept going with it and he became unbelievably at it, He had some difficult moments though, because he talks about it in the book about how the self-doubt would come in. And he said, although you've got lots of people watching you and you've got your caddy, he said, it's a lonely sport. It's just you on your own. And if you don't do well, that's it. You may not be here next year. And he said, there's always that pressure. And he shared about that, and I suppose this is the human element that interested me as well. But he shares about how that pressure started to get too much for him. And he started to drink a little bit more and he started to just, I suppose, become depressed almost. And it got to a very bad place where he started throwing clubs, and at one point he's on the green, it didn't go right, and he fires the club up into the tree, and he keeps going on, and his caddy's going, okay, and then it happens again and again. 3 clubs, and the caddy's going, we'll have no clubs left if you keep doing this, And he just was a meltdown moment, and it goes to show. And he's a professional athlete, he's incredible at what he does, and he's one of the top 10 at one point. And at that stage, he realized he was breaking under the pressure, and I think it's enlightening to see that it doesn't matter what level you get to, we're all human, and the pressure can get too much. And he had to take time out, went through a very dark time. He got some help, and he got talking to a sports coach, and the coach said to him, look, what's the problem? What's the problem? And he started kind of going into all of the stuff of the pressure and all this kind of thing. And he said, I know that's the challenge, but what's the problem? As in, why can't you cope with all of that? It's nothing new. You've grown up in it. So what is it? And what it came out is that he was at a place of getting up there to being top in the world was one of those great things, but staying there was the pressure. And he said, that was a pressure I'd never experienced in my life because I'm as good as my last swing. And that kind of opened up a lot of things for him. He went away for a little bit and came back. But then the double whammy then was he got an injury in his thumb. And it was one of these freak injuries. They don't know why. He didn't hurt it, just started getting pain. And they said, you may never swing again with this injury. And that kind of started to tempt him to go back into old habits of kind of coping. But, he's actually through it now and he's on the way back. But it was a fascinating story. And he talks about like the fashion pressure to look good on the golf course, something I'd never thought about. He said, but this wasn't a thing, he said, many years ago, but like just pressure to look good. There's pressure to swing good. Every time you pick up a club, people have this expectation that you are going to be amazing. And he said, and you're not always amazing. He said, you just can't be at that level all the time. And he said, that pressure started off small, but started building and building and building. And he's a very realistic person. He keeps it real.
I think what was lovely about it as well is it has all the best bits of a sporting drama almost. Yeah. Because we forget that sport is drama.
Yeah.
And when you look behind the drama of the sport and realise there's so much drama in his life.
Yeah.
And he's so honest in the book.
He's very honest. And I think what happens to a lot of people is we forget that these, iconic people are human. And they have a life and they have a wife and they've all these things going on for them. And for him, he said, I never struggled with work-life balance. He said, it was never really, an issue for me. I saw though, and he talks about other, amazing golfers who really struggled with, all they would do is eat, breathe, sleep was golf. And he said, that was never my issue. He said, but the temptation to party a little bit harder was more his kind of temptation. And it was fascinating to see that, yeah, it's like every sport, but you're very on your own though. If things aren't working out, you're very isolated.
Well, it's the success, isn't it? Success brings lots of friends, but once you're there and you're starting to go the other way...
Yeah, it gets lonely quickly, and that's the thing about it. And he said no one really reached out, even though I was visibly cracking up. He said he did one swing and it was terrible in front of millions of people, and it was just a diabolical swing and so forth. And no one really sees that, is he all right after that, He said, but the last thing you want is someone to come over going, are you all right? Because he said, you bite the hand off them.
Yeah.
So he said, it's a very difficult position.
There's so much to learn in it, I think, both like as a woman, as a man, as someone who's into golf, someone who's not into golf,
Yeah.
just about that human journey. I loved it. I totally
I
recommend it.
really enjoyed it, and I'm not a golfer, so I'm like, really enjoyed it, yeah.
There we go. We're sorted. You have to get it now, Dave.
Yeah, this is it. I'm learning how to play golf.
Yeah. No, you don't have to learn to play golf. I don't even like golf. I lied at the start. I have no idea what a hole-in-one or a shank is, but there you go.
I might learn about good jumpers, good golf jumpers.
Yeah.
It was funny, yeah, they talked about fashion in it, and that was like fascinating, that there was a pressure to look good and get the right sponsor. And like certain sponsors weren't, like, are kind of frowned on. Like, it was mad.
Fantastic.